So should we compare it with our internet? Yeah, you can. You can just start comparing that how much usually the lemon juice has, and you will find different you'll find different results actually, because the lemon, based on the tropics or the weather, they will have different results. The concentration. So yeah, you don't freak out. Okay, so you will see different results. I'm looking for some in here, but I cannot find it. Oh, okay. Yeah, so any other questions you have? Anyone? So the percentage of error of the experiment seems to be abnormally high. Will that high percentage of error affect our marks? No, because the results that you did not get right, we provided the data, so you did not. So that is why you will not be, what do you call it, penalized for the sin or for the mistakes that you didn't commit. We will see how much of your integrity of writing the report and how much you try to make it, put it in perception, and then try to explain those things. Okay, so no, you will not be penalized for the data that we have provided. But if you make any mistake in calculation, and then if there any lack of your discussion, probably yes, then we will. So if you have any more question, you can of course ask, but let me go through the report writing a bit. I talked about it very briefly that day, but now today I will talk more about more detailed about format of what you should do or what you shouldn't do. First of all, you should, in any report, not only for this one, but when in higher, when you go for third year, fourth year, you have to submit a lot of reports. So there, what you do is you have to state, first and foremost is you have to write the title. Okay, doesn't matter if you can, the lecturer or the tutor, we know what is the title, but still the norm and the good practice is you should always put the title. The title is this, okay, and then you put the aim. Okay, there will be a little bit difference in this report, right? A little bit difference when you go to the higher classes, but for now it will be sufficient if you start with by putting aim. What is the aim of your report that you are writing now? No, sorry, what is the aim of your experiment that you are doing now? Why are you doing now? What is the purpose of it? Okay, what do you want to get or achieve from it? That is your aim. That aim cannot be a long sentence. It must be a precise one. But again, in this experiment and then in this manual, every experiment you will see that the aim is stated there, right? So if everybody just copy and paste or everybody give the same aim, what will happen? Anybody? If everybody give me the same aim, what will happen? Plagiarism, yeah, exactly same thing. If you give me word by word, then it will be a plagiarism. Yes. If it is not word by word, but very much similar, that titration with sodium hydroxide, right? And somebody else is writing that citric acid titration with sodium hydroxide. It is not exactly the same thing, but very similar thing. So what can we expect? What do you expect that will happen? All right. You know, but you don't want to tell me. I know. Okay. So the thing will happen is you will, lose marks. If everybody gives the same thing, then where are you different, right, from others? So you will just get an average mark. But if you try to explain that aim in one sentence, of course, it cannot be long. Aim is very precise, that my aim is to go there. It cannot be an aim because you did not see, say where. If you say that, okay, in Swinburne, my aim is to go to building G block G block 101, for example, or G block 5th floor 502. So that is a precise aim. But if you say that my aim is to go to Swinburne, it does not make an aim because it is a very wide. Swinburne is quite big and there are so many places to go into Swinburne. So you have to specify what is your objective for this thing that you are doing. Okay, so you think about it, put it nicely, don't stress too much. I know that there are 7-8 groups. It cannot be totally different thing because this is a titration thing, but at least you try to make it innovative or nice way to put, but very brief, but complete aim. Okay, so that would be the aim. And then you have to put the methodology, a very concise methodology. For you may refer to the sample that I already have posted on Canvas last week. So you may refer to that. And the method or methodology, you have to write a very concise summary, okay, of the method. Concise summary means that you write it in a very concise way. You summarize the whole thing, but without losing any detail of that. Like you are preparing sodium hydroxide, right? You can say that 0.1 molar sodium hydroxide was prepared by taking 30 milligram or 30 gram of sodium hydroxide and dissolved in 1 liter or something like that. Is for example, it's not an accurate thing I'm telling, but I'm just giving an example. So in this way, you don't need to say that, okay, sodium hydroxide was this color and this size. It was powdery, it was a little bit liquidy or something like that. And then I go to the balance room. I went to the balance room. I took a spatula and take it out and then put it in the balance. I get 0.3 milligram and then I bring it back to my workstation and then I dissolve it in the water. I took it from the water from there. No, you don't have to say all these things. Understand? It will be concise, but if anybody say that 0.01 molar sodium hydroxide was prepared by dissolving 0.3 molar of sodium hydroxide in that 1 liter of solid water, that suffices that anybody, those who has some knowledge of chemistry, they will understand that, okay, what is this guy did, right? So this is the way. You don't have to write all the steps or this lemon was this size, was bought and then cut into 4 pieces and then we squeeze it out, the juice with our hand, or no, you don't have to say in this way. You can just say that the lemon was purchased from the local market and then, oh, I cannot say, right? Because this is your actual, okay? So anyway, you can say that, okay, lemon was squeezed out the juice and then it was filtered. So in a way that people understand, they get the full or 90% idea of what you did without making it lengthy. right? Don't just make it lengthy purposely or, I mean, without purpose. Okay. Okay. And then, okay, after that is the methodology that you should be given. And methodology or method section should contain all the methods that you have written there, right? How many steps you have done. For an example, okay, this is the first lab report, so I think I will give you a more detail about it. And I forgot to turn on my camera for a few minutes. Now I'm turning it on. Okay. Wait. Okay. Done. Just 1 minute. Where is the background here? Anyway, cannot find the background where how to remove the background. Okay, so come back to this methodology section. That let's say for your first experiment, you will have 3 sections, right? First, the preparation of your sodium hydroxide, right? And then second is getting the juice out of that lemon. Third, you are doing the titration. So you can divide into 3 this section. Of course, it will be very small. I mean, 3-4 sentences maybe in one section. But nonetheless, you can put it in 3 sections. That method, sodium hydroxide preparation, extraction of juice, and third is the titration. Okay, the titration of lemon juice with sodium hydroxide. In a way, or somebody, if anybody wants to do it in one paragraph, is welcome, no problem. You can do it. There is no, but always you try to see how it looks better and convenient to read and to follow what you are writing. Then results. The results that you put here are whatever results you get from that experiment you're doing. You prepare the sodium hydroxide, right? So that your result is 0.1 molar sodium, ever molar sodium hydroxide. By the way, if somebody wants to discuss about the standardization of sodium hydroxide, and if you are from, I mean, you have gone through this, our foundation program in chemistry here, then you will know what is the standardization of sodium hydroxide and what is the need for standardization of sodium hydroxide is needed, why we have to do the standardization of sodium hydroxide. So you can just talk about it a little bit. There is no harm, and it is always good actually. That shows that you know. And then, okay, the result is sodium hydroxide. You prepared the sodium hydroxide. You did not prepare, we give you the data, but if you would prepare, consider that you have prepared in this report when you're writing, consider that you have prepared the things. So when you are preparing the sodium hydroxide and then you got the result, right? You take 40 grams sodium hydroxide, or I don't know, maybe X gram of sodium hydroxide you took, and then you prepared the solution in 1 liter. You expected it to be 0.1 molar or 1 molar solution, but then it was not 1 molar. Why? What was the problem? It happened, right? So this why you don't write in the result. This why you write in the discussion. But what is the result you get? Like 0.1, 1, 0.09. The result that you get out of that things, you put it here, or the standard deviation, or the average deviation, or the percentage of error. You got all these things will be in the result, right? And then when you are discussing, when you are focusing the result, that I got this result, And this result is because of, I got this result. So why I got this result? What is the problem with the result? The result is good, bad, whatever you write in the discussion, right? So this will be in the discussion. The result could be good, how it could be good, that would come in the conclusion and recommendation, but you can put it in the end of the discussion as well, that what was the problem? That you prepared it 0.1, then it did not become 0.1. It was found out that is 0.09 or 1.1 or something like that. So what was the problem? Why it was not as per the calculation? And then the juice that you added sodium hydroxide to this juice. Why? What you are expecting, and then what is your result here? Why did you get that result? Is it, according to that internet result that we get, or it is more or less, or it is almost equal to the average? Why it is not, and why it is? What was the problem? What are the other considerations that we should take to make it more accurate result? Of course, probably you get the precise one, precision was high, but not accurate. So what we should do to get the accurate result? Those should be in the discussion part. And in conclusion part, all right, you conclude that whether you have your experiment has answered the aim that you started with, right? Was it good? Did you fulfill the aim that you started to do for, what you started for this experiment to do? If you did, then it's good. Then you can say that, okay, this method is good, and then we can find out by this way, not only lemon, other juices maybe, or similar type of things. Or if it is not good, then what was the problem? Where do we have to, this is your conclusion, where do we have to look more into to remove that problem? So it will be in the conclusion. Conclusion usually is not much. It is also like 3, 4, 5 sentences maximum. You can express you can state the result again, the final result, that it was, the final result is this, and with how strong is the result. To show how strong is the result, you can support with the percent of error. Yeah, that it was, this result is good because the percent of error is this only. So, and this result is good, and it can be done in this way, or this result is not good, it cannot be done in that way because there is a problem in where, in methodology or calculation or wherever. You can come up with this in that conclusion. And answers, there are some questions are always given at the end of the experiment. So you try to find the answer and then put the answer there. You write on the answer. Now, in the first experiment, where is that? Okay, this is the titration of lemon juice. You do not need to, when you submit, right, the report, you can just submit from here on this what do you call it? You can just copy it, print it, and then write on it. No problem. You can use that one, this one. And then there are always, everywhere, there are 2 copies of the same, the result sheet, because when in normal time we would go to the lab, on the same day, student would have to give me 1 copy and then they would take it. So later when they submit, I will check whether the result is same as they got in the lab, or later they change the result or not. So that is why there is always 2 copies. You will get the same thing. So what you will do is you do the calculation part here. 2 ways you can do the calculation. You can type out the calculation, of course, first. Second, you can write by hand. All right, you can do the calculation by hand, but make sure that your calculation is your writing is very, very clear. Like, you do not write in all the things in the same place and with adequate space between two lines. Okay, if I do not understand what you are writing, there is not much time that I will get back to you. Okay, what you are writing is submit again. No, there will be no resubmission. So if I do not understand what you're writing, you will not get marks. Very clear and simple, right? So please write clearly, keep adequate space between two lines you are writing, and show the calculation here. But when you are doing the discussion, it must be typed out. It must be, because your discussion will be checked when you're submitting. It will be checked against the plagiarism checking. So that is why it must be typed. All right, your discussion part. You can do the calculation by hand. You can type it, or you can just take some on the photo and paste it here, no problem. But only calculation part, not the discussion. Okay, not the discussion part or conclusion part. Conclusion and discussion part should be typed out. Is it clear? If I see anybody is submitting all picture or handwritten, then they will not get marks. Okay, is it clear? 17 of us are here. Is it clear that what you can do, how you can prepare the report? Okay, so I assume that all of you, Tiffany says okay, yes. So I assume everyone listened to me already, and then you know that it is what I'm saying is clear. So if you can, for the only calculation part, you can do that mathematical calculation. Okay, the mathematical part you can type it, or you can write by hand, or you can take photo of the only calculation part and paste it here. But you cannot do so for discussion and conclusion. Okay. Jason, what is the actual percentage composition to calculate the percentage error? Oh, again, you have to get it from the. I also don't know if if I did it in the lab. If I could go to the lab, I could tell you that this is probably the roughly, but you get it from the internet. That what lemon juice, how much vitamin C or ascorbic acid a lemon juice can usually have in this tropical region. All right, because lemon juice, if you go north or give south, maybe it will vary. But in this tropical, because it is in Malaysia, it's in tropical country. So in this tropical region, the lemon grows. How much the percentage? How much is the actual ascorbic acid in lemon juice? Okay, so this is what I wanted to say. Do you have any question? Don't type, please speak. If you have a question, please, can you speak? If compared to internet source, I got 11% error. Yeah, so it be, we cannot verify now, but you will see whether your calculation is okay. Clarence, sir, can we use experiment1.docs as our lab share, or we need to make a new doc file for it? I don't understand what you mean, Clarence. So for the uncertainties, should we use the small deviation to identify, or by calculating average deviation? No, you have to do by average deviation. Okay, you have to do by average. This deviation by 2 is usually for how do you say that, when it is not specified, and for manual ruler or scale or balances. So then we divide by 2 to know the average or a rough idea about it. But for a more sophisticated result, we get it from the average deviation calculation. Okay. Please refer, Tiffany, for your answer. Please refer to the lecture slide. There we were talking about the error and the uncertainties. Yeah. So you follow that one, please. Do we need to provide references for our net results? Yes. Otherwise, from how do we know that from where you get the lemon juice data, right? Or how do you know that titration can neutralize it, or the problem that associated in neutralizing the lemon juice, or where do you get that information from, right? So that is why you have to provide the references. Okay. This one I have the what do you call it, the reference of MS Word. So I have already given you the PDF file of it, right? So you can actually edit the PDF. You can download the PDF file and then download those few pages, and yes, you can use that PDF and type on it. I'm not sharing this MS Word file, sorry. Justin, do we need to include the risk assessment? Of course, yes. That is the first criteria of the marking scheme, right? So you have to. Okay, thank you for bringing it up. So for the risk assessment, it is not here actually, that's why I forgot. For the risk assessment, what should you be considering for the risk assessment, right? The thing is, risk assessment are what are the risks associated in doing this lab. Okay, let me tell you first that when we do the titration, before titration, when we prepare the sample, there are a few risks that, of course, chemicals are risks. Any chemical in the, if you come to the lab next week, hopefully, then I will tell you that any chemical, you cannot trust any of the chemicals, right? Not even water. Not even water, because we do not know if water is pure or something is diluted or something is a solution of something, right? So in the lab, chemistry lab, chemical lab, do not trust anything, any chemical or any substances there, liquid or solid. That is, there are risks associated. It can be poisonous, it can be harmful, it can burn your skin, it can cause some damage to your organs like eyes or your nose or whatever. So that is thing. I mean, there are risks associated with it. So when you are using sodium hydroxide, what are the risks associated with this sodium hydroxide? You have to write. Second thing is, you are using so many glassware there in the lab that you will be using so many glasswares to prepare the solution, to do titration, blah, 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 blah thing. So there, what are the risks associated with the glass instrument, right? And then what should you be doing to avoid or those risks, okay? To minimize those risks, what you should be doing. That is another thing. Third thing is, when we are working in the lab, there might be a slippery flow that can be possible, might be, that is also possibilities, right? And sometimes we'll be using the electrical appliances, right? Like the heating mantle or the balance, electric balance. So there are electricity there. So there is a risk here. So what should we be doing? to be safe from those type of risk. Right? So these all things, or right now I cannot think more about it, but there are so many. So you can keep thinking about is what are the risks and then what should you be doing. So it is, you write it at the beginning of your report that these are the risks, associated risk, and what is the other thing that I said? Risk and forgot the word. Risk and the risk assessment. Yeah, what are the risks and risk assessment, and another word I forgot actually. To counter the risk, what should we do to counter the risk? Okay, so you can put in the beginning, and then you start aim and method and introduction or whatever. Okay, is that clear?
Sir?
Yep.
From how you answered Clarence just now,
Yeah.
that we can use the Word file that you're showing on the screen. So if we use that file, should we change the aim, change the method of summary to basically paraphrase it so that we won't get plagiarism?
Yep. You can.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's a must, right? So that we won't get plagiarism. So we should change it, edit it.
Yes, thank you for the question, Alvin.
Okay.
The thing is, I'm showing this aim and the method summary and equation. The equation will always be the same equation, right? So we cannot do anything about it. But aim, you can write differently in various ways. You can write methodology. Of course, you can write it in different ways. And before that, you can just submit this copy like this. Just you have to add a risk assessment in front of it before you start this lab report. Okay, and then methodology, you can also change the methodology as well, and calculations. Yeah, same thing actually. You can use the same copy and then submit it. No problem.
All right, sir. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Anyone else? You see, when you ask question, unmute yourself. It's so easy to understand your question and then answer. You type it here. It's also good, but I need to read all and then have to understand what you're telling and then have to answer. So that's why I say that, okay, unmute yourself and then talk. I feel more engaged in that way. I can't listen properly, so we need to rewrite the method summary. Yep, I did not say that you must write, but because I'm saying that if everybody put the same thing, then how are you different than others? You will get the average mark, right? If you try to make it better, some will try to make it worse. So the marks will vary in that way first. And the method summary here, it says that a very small, a very concise one. We cannot understand much of the work from this method summary. So you have to include more about what we did in this, how many sections, that preparation of sodium hydroxide, squeeze the juice, and then titration, all those three things. Yeah. So that the method summary or methodology section will be a bit different. Yes. Did you? I mean, which part you can't listen properly? From the very beginning or just now? From the very beginning or just now? Or, I mean, how much did you, I mean, you did not listen? Okay, just that part. Okay, so the previous part are okay? Okay. Anyone has any other question? Shafaf, you did not submit your acknowledgement form. Okay. If you do not submit it by today, you will not get marks for this lab report. And another thing is that if anybody of you are not participating in the group work, let me know, please. So any other question?
Sir?
Yeah.
Sorry, I think I'm confused. So, do we need to submit this report file by filling it and the report, or is just this one?
Yeah, this one is a math. Of course, this one everybody has to submit. The safety acknowledgement form is for everybody. Everyone else has submitted actually. You are left. So yeah, you please submit it by today. I will open it for you. And the report will be submitted one per group. Okay. There are 3 person or 4 person in a group. Only 1 or 2 groups there are 4 person. But for 3 person in a group, only one report. All these 3 person has to sit together, discuss, and then make one report and send one copy of that report, not 3. And this 3 person should take turn in submitting the report. Like you, I don't know who else in your group, you and then 2 of your other group members. So for example, this lab experiment 1 report you uploaded from your account to Canvas. Experiment 2 report your another member will upload from her or his account to Canvas, and this way it will go on, and it will turn after 3. So just to make sure that everybody is active, everybody is taking participation. If once again, reminding you, if you do not participate in the group work and your group members are complaining, then anybody, I'm not pointing anyone, I'm saying generally that if anybody does not participate in the group work, preparing the lab report, he or she is going to lose the mark. Okay. So that is just to remind you. Okay, so any other question before I move to Muhammad Taha's question? No. Suddenly the background, turning off the background is gone. Every day I think these MS Teams are changing their features. Where's the background? Okay, anyway, you have already seen my background. It's not pretty, it's ugly, but I'm in my office and so many things are behind. Okay, yeah, Mohammad Taha, you asked the question. I was actually wanted to discuss it last week, but problem is I had to stop because of my stomach upset I had, and it was I had the pain from the morning and I was thinking to cancel the class. I was almost going to announce it that I will not cancel. I will cancel the class, but I was just thinking that yeah, if I can just make it for half an hour, and luckily I could go for 50 minutes almost. Yeah, so I was going to ask, and I wanted to finish it last week as well for the atomic structure, but I couldn't because of that. So another thing, just to share with you that if you do not like any food to eat, or if you have suspicion in that food, don't eat. Okay, this is a lesson. Okay, so for this quiz, that quiz will be, actually I will be doing some quizzes tomorrow when we start the atomic structure, and then you will see that the online quiz will be very much or more or like similar to that one. What will be there? The quiz, and then there will be 3-4 answer. Okay, there are 3-4 answer. Another, one thing is that there are 24-25 students we have. You will not get the same questions. Everyone will not get the same question. There are a pool of question online, the quizzes, and this canvas will I don't know how it will detect. It will choose for you what question you will get. It is not in my hand. So you have to just click it, and you have 10 questions. I think you have 10 questions to take, and you have a certain time. I haven't set the time yet, but probably you will have 10 minutes. So that in 10 minutes you have to take the question. Quizzes, just click it, and you will have maximum of 2 chances to do it. So yeah, that's it. That is it. It's not something difficult. It's easy thing. Actually, it's based on your whatever quiz question can have. Sometimes there will be a little bit of calculation, of course, but those calculations should be okay to do it within 1 minute. Yeah. So this is about the quiz. Do you have any other question? Anyone else? Jonathan, no. Anybody? Sir, can we increase the time limit for quiz? Let's see how, but I'm sure that 10 question, 10 minutes is enough. Yeah, 3. There will be 5 quizzes and 15 marks total, so each will be 3 marks. Yeah. Sorry, 15%, so each will be 3%. Yeah. Any other question you have? The quiz will be based on week 1 and yes, it will be based on whatever we have studied before that quiz. It will be based on that. Of course, this is we will not test you that we did not teach you, okay? So don't worry. Any other question, anyone? No, today is not a lecture day, right? It's the lab day, so, and there is no lab, but I thought that you might have some questions, so I just become online. Tomorrow we'll have a tutorial at 4 p.m. It's very bad time, but yeah, anyway, we'll do it. We will follow according to the timetable that we have. And if there is any changes or any need to do some extra timing or anything, then we will of course tell you first. Okay, so if you don't have any question, then I'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Of course, all time are Malaysian time. All right. So take care and all the best. Bye-bye.